Hello fairy friends, it is Liz. I am going to be putting away this project because I need room for some more of my holiday things, and just this project took a lot more time than I thought, and I'm just gonna have to put it away for next fall. Now this was a $3 yard, or not yard sale, a $3 thrift store house. It was just this part of the house. I always put a base on my doll houses if I'm building them from scratch, or if I'm modifying or doing doing a rehab of an older house. I always put it on a base because that gives it more stability and can give it its character. So there were no windows. I put the diamond shaped metal in to look like panes of glass, like what you would see in like a Tudor style home. I painted, I chose to paint some of the architectural features black to give it some character, and I added these turrets at the top, and they're not on exactly straight because I'm still working with them. And I can't glue them in place until they're done. So that's why they're a little bit whopper-jawed there. So my thinking for this house was to do something that might be on the outskirts of a town like Salem. And so just trying to also think of like fall colors and things. So I will be probably going back over the paint. I did want to give it a weathered look, but perhaps not that weathered. And then I did want to put shingles on and make windows for each of the turrets and add some detail along the bottom edges in the form of like some wrought iron, kind of like what you would see for a wrought iron gate, but only it would be like a little trim that would go around each of those, just to add some interest. And I have it, I just have to spray paint it and cut it to size. And then the windows would just be fake windows. I wouldn't actually cut into the turrets, but I would make the shapes from polymer clay so that they would be curved to go around the turret. I did put a sun and moon and stars kind of motif. I'm not really sure if I want to keep them the gold color, so that might get changed. But for everything else, I pretty much like it. I did not put doorknobs on. They had like little peg balls for the door because this was like a kid's generic house. So usually on those type of houses, the doors are real simple, and they make them so that little fingers can pull and open them up. So the balls were too big, really, and not realistic. So I might be changing the door or adding detail to the door to make it look more realistic. But each of the pumpkins are hand sculpted and painted. Oop, one of them's a little bit kooky. This little metal arbor here is something that I had, and then the rest is sheet, like the roll moss that you can get in the floral section. The rocks, believe it or not, they're just the plain white rocks, but I went through and painted them. I gave them like a grayish tan wash just to make them all look a little bit different. And those were glued in place. Some reindeer moss here, some dried twigs to give that autumn look. And this was a little wagon from something, I don't know, some odds and ends. And actually, I think this is not how I wanted it. There we go. Put that there. Anyway, the wagon got painted to kind of match. These were, I don't know why my husband did that. I think he probably didn't want to lose these. These were possible doorknobs, but they don't work. So I think he put those there so nobody would poke themselves on them, but that's not where they go. And then there's some hay in there. And then over here is a little shed that I made to kind of like make a little extra little doorway into the house, or just be a shed. I don't have a door yet, but there's already some debris. It's kind of funny how I want it to look realistic, but I don't want any old type of debris. But this is sand, some colored sand, look like gravel. So that is the front, and now we'll go around to the interesting part, which is the inside, and I'll show you what I've done there. Now, let me see if I can get far enough back so you can see it all. And the little balconies, I wanted to show that real quick. I thought that was a nice little area to have a place to decorate. So we'll start here with the entrance. Now I put a little wood applique piece above the doorway, and then I made like a shelf above the door to go that way. There's a little skull with a candle on the top. Now this, and a little crystal ball and some books that I made, and I'll show you how I did the books. Then there's some little tables and a chair that I painted. It was just a dollar store chair. This is so bad, guys. I'm so sorry. This lighting is so bad. Maybe that'll be better. Anyway, some little tables that I created out of some odds and ends wood turnings, a dollar store chair that I painted and upholstered, some more of the books, another little table with a little bowl that's actually part of a piece of jewelry. And these pictures are all paintings that were in a catalog of paintings that you could buy, and another catalog had a floor screen that you could buy. So that's what that is back there. You can pull it out and place another picture back there. And the frames are actually pieces of, they're actually window frames from another dollhouse kit that I had altered, so I didn't need them. So there is that front room, and I was going to show you a book here and how I did these. I got museum wax on here, so you can remove the wax. You can see it right there. It's not a hot glue. You can remove the wax pretty easily, but it keeps everything from shifting. Basically, that's pieces of wood that I scored to look like pages, and then I stained it, and then I wrapped and glued some decorative paper. So all the books that you see in here were made by me. Now this serves as, and in case I didn't say this already, this was for Halloween. So this was kind of like a witch's house, kind of, is what I was envisioning. So this is kind of like a little potions room. So think like Harry Potter. That's kind of like what I was doing. And then the jars are just jars that you can purchase at hobby stores. And I filled those up with different things. Get a little bit closer so you can see. And some beads. And then those wood barrels are some things that you can get in the wood turnings aisle. And then that table right there is a wood turning. The pots back there. And those are just beads up there, and some more wood appliques just to add interest. And a little broom I made with pine needles and a twig. And this was a little bucket that was in some stuff. I think it was wood, and so I just used some metal paint. This would make it look older. And that is just for for the wood floor there, that is actually scrapbook paper. Here is a little sampler and some plates that came from magazine catalogs. And I just put it on some cardstock. Aged it a little and put some gold around the edges to look real. And the thing that I really love in this room is my parlor stove that I made out of just old pieces of jewelry. I made the wood tray at the bottom. And that's just a marker and a miniature like sample of shampoo. And then here we have the center biggest room. And actually I should probably, maybe this would actually help here. Why don't I do that since these are not attached yet? Sorry guys, I should have thought of this. I can't do it with the bottom floor, but I can do it with this top floor. So there, you can see this a lot better. I'm gonna turn off this light too, by the way, while I'm at it. So you can see how nice that looks. And then this is the center biggest room. And this had this was open here, which didn't make any sense. So I put this wood here to close out the doorway. And it doesn't make, the reason that they make it like that is so that, again, so little hands could use this. Again, this was, I spray painted it tan before I even started decorating it, only because the kid who had it had used nail polish to write their name all over it. So if you saw the transformation, you would be like, wow, you did a lot. But yeah, it looked pretty bad, but you had to use your imagination. And that's what I did and came up with how I wanted this to be. And here's another little room with a picture, a little bench with some books, another little picture right there, a little candle that I made, some more books, and this is like a little actual wood trunk that I took the lid off of. So it looks like a trunk still, but it was just too big with the lid. It was like a trinket box type of a deal. And then the covering over it, that's just from a catalog too. And then down here, the last room, and again, I just want to say there are a lot of details in here, but I'm not finished yet. Let me turn this back on so you guys can see into here. So there's still a lot of work to do. There's a table back here with some books. I made these very shallow shelves to put up, and I'll be putting more things. The desk there, that's actually one of the first sets of furniture that I got whenever I was a kid, and the sofa and the chair that go to it are way too small, but that was still in scale, so I used it. And then over here, I see something. The seashells. I think the seashell is supposed to be up here. And this is just like a little, I don't really know. This is like just a little alcove with a little window, another picture, and a picture above here. Oops, sorry about the lighting, you guys. I'll try to, it's really cold out today. It was like 57 yesterday. And so, but today it's like 30. So I can't, it would be a lot easier for me to do this outside. Another broom that I made, and this was actually using the bristles from a cinnamon broom that I have. And then a little cabinet, and this was a dollar store cabinet that I painted, and then took some, why can't I think, some sandpaper too. Almost everything has been made to, you know, painted or sanded to look old, but that will get filled up with a lot of different little tiny items too. So even though, like I was trying to say, oh, and then my Venus flytrap plant that I made out of a little seed pod, that's a real pod to, I don't know what plant now. I don't think it came off of my rose bush. It might have came from my neighbor's yard. But anyway, there is a lot of detail here already. There's still a lot of stuff that I still wanted to do for it and just finish it off. And a dollhouse is something where you can keep adding to it indefinitely. But if you guys have any questions, please do put them in the comments section. And if you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. And there will be more doll things happening. I'll be doing a tour of my doll studio. I'll decorate it for Christmas. Just before I put this away, I wanted to do a little video. Anyway, thank you guys for spending some time with me. And I hope you guys have a magical day. Bye-bye.